The author quotes Coleridge in order to. The reference to Coleridge is in the last statement of the first paragraph. The quotation is given by this very statement. Even Coleridge, certainly no literary reactionary, spoke for many when he asserted that novel reading occasions the destruction of the mind's powers. First off, the quotation itself states that novel reading occasions the destruction of mind's powers. So the mind's powers would be weakened or destroyed if a person reads novels, which means that Coleridge had a negative opinion of novels, and then also he spoke for many when he made this assertion. So people agreed with Coleridge. People in general had a negative view of novels. Let's see what what the options tell us. A says, refute the literary opinions of certain religious and political groups. This is incorrect. The religious and political groups mentioned in this option are referenced here in the first paragraph. It is mentioned in the next statement, or rather than the next line. These groups also consider novels to be of little practical use. So these groups, while not exactly the same opinion, but they still had a negative opinion of novels. So it is unlikely that the author quotes Coleridge to refute the literary opinions. In fact, it is quite not possible. The groups mentioned here and Coleridge, their opinions were aligned in a certain way. So there was no refutation in this. Option A is incorrect. Option B says, make a case for the inferiority of novels to poetry. Now, the inferiority of novels is very evident from the statement that Coleridge makes, but the comparison to poetry is not mentioned anywhere here or in fact in the passage. So we can see that a part of this is outside the premise. B is also incorrect. Option C tells us, give an example of a writer who was not a literary reactionary. This is outright stupid. We see that it is mentioned here, Coleridge, certainly no literary reactionary. That is there. So this option is talking about something from the passage. It references something relevant from the passage, but it is not relevant to the question because the question asks us the reason why the quotation by Coleridge is given. And the quotation is given in order to connect it to the larger premise, the significance of novels, especially Jane Austen's novels. So whether Coleridge was not a literary reactionary or whether he was, it really doesn't have any impact on the premise. And hence, this is not a valid answer. C can be ruled out. Option D says, indicate how widespread was the attack on novels in the early 19th century. This is quite true. Let us first see the second statement of this paragraph. In addition, fiction was under strenuous attack. Then we have the certain religious and political groups, and then we say even Coleridge. Notice the word even. So even Coleridge, who was not a literary reactionary, he spoke negatively of novels. So we see that the reference here is that there was an attack on novels in the early 19th century and how widespread it was because someone such as even Coleridge, who himself was a literature, a writer, a poet, would speak so negatively of novels. So D is a valid choice. We can qualify it. That is the correct answer.